What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got some major stuff here going on here in our country right now that you need to know about. We have an urgent warning from the Federal Reserve, from the Fed, that we're going to go over here in this video, and a lot of different things. Also, we're giving away thousands of dollars to our viewers here. And we gave away money for Thanksgiving. We're giving away money for the Christmas holidays. And in this video, I'm going to give you guys a trivia question. And if you can answer it, you could win money directly from me. So make sure to watch this video all the way through and you could win money directly from me. Yeah, also, if you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on our new videos that come out here every single day. And thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. Okay, we're going to hear from a former Federal Reserve president who is going to tell us, well, some alarming news. So here we go. We'll discuss it here afterwards, and let me know your thoughts on this. Take a listen.
Joining us right now is former Dallas Fed President Richard Fisher. He's a senior advisor to Barclays. He serves on the boards of Tenet Healthcare and Warner Brothers Discovery and is a CNBC contributor. And Richard, we don't get to talk to a Fed president, but we get to talk to a former Fed president, and that is pretty darn good for us. So what do you think after that Friday jobs report? It was definitely hotter than had been expected. Is that going to change Jay Powell and companies' minds?
I don't think so. There's just came across the wire. Again, the Fed whisperer, Nick Timiraos, arguing that they might possibly make 250 basis point moves. So this December 14th to be announced, and then in February. I consider that a reasonable thing. And I think the main point here, Becky, is we're still going through this adjustment from free money to money that costs. And it's sort of a jerky process in the markets. One of the best investors I know has described it as going from driving automatic to stick shift and, trying to get that down, jerking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I think that's what we're seeing in the financial markets. I don't think that dissuades the Fed, and certainly not Chairman Powell, from doing what has to be done. And it's pretty clear they're not done.
We're looking at the Dow futures right now. Maybe we can put this up tick by tick for the Dow futures, which are now off by about 240 points. We'd been down earlier this morning, but it was closer to down 150. My guess is that's a drop that took place, just as you mentioned, that WSJ headline crossing. You can see right there. We've ticked lower, probably just on the assumption that things could be 50 basis points, and then the Fed waits and sees to figure out what's happening. You can look at the futures or you can look at the bond market, and the yields there, Richard, are indicating that the bond market seems to think the Fed is going to pivot sooner rather than later, that there's enough damage that's been done that they will have to be pulling back. 3.553% is the last tick. Which one do you believe? Who's got the bigger heft when it comes to this?
I'm not sure markets are great indicators here. Again, there's so much uncertainty. If you look at the yield curve, what's interesting is the 1 year is stuck at very high levels and everything else has fallen off as you proceed out the yield curve. What that's telling you, I think, is they expect some tough stuff in the short term, but that it's going to work. And therefore, you see the 10-year has come down dramatically from its peak of 4.3 to where it is right now in the 3.4 range, 3.5 range. Mm-hmm. And even at the 3-year, the 5-year, the 7-year. So that, to me, is an assumption by the marketplace, right or wrong, that they'll get the job done. But that short term, it's going to be expensive. And look at, again, where the 1-year yield is. So I think the main point here is I'm pretty certain, as I understand Jay Powell, having sat next to him for 3 years and having talked to him every now and then, the worst thing they could do is stop early. They already made a mistake by embracing this transitory argument. They look bad. They stop early, and then inflation continues on or roars back, particularly driven by wages, especially on frontline workers, not white-collar workers. And then they have to come back and tighten again. That would be, I think they'd go down in the books as having done a very bad job.
You mean it's better to hurt the economy too much than to lose face?
I think he's basically said that. He didn't say lose face, but there's a danger in not doing your job. And that's the way I read Brookings. his appearance at Brookings. Everybody said, "Oh, he's massively dovish, et cetera." I thought he was quite deliberate and signaling that they're going to do this as long as it takes to get it done, and it may last longer and at a higher level and stay there than some people are guessing, or the consensus has it.
You know, lasting longer and leaving it there for a while is different than continuing to raise rates beyond the level that are needed. And I mean, there's so much. If you listen to some of the CEOs we have on who have seen real struggles in their businesses as a result, they'll tell you that they've already done too much. If you listen to Larry Summers, he'll say it's going to be way more than the Fed is even indicating at this point. Which camp do you come down in?
Well, you know, Larry is ubiquitous. He's everywhere these days, but he's very, very smart and is a friend of mine. And I think that he's probably closer to being right. I can see a terminal rate that's above 5% and holding it for a while.
Yeah, so he says the worst mistake the Fed can do is stop early, and they're expecting 2 more rate hikes coming here within basically the next 2 or 3 months here. One more coming this month, literally within a matter of days. This will raise interest rates on credit cards, mortgages, car loans for used cars, for new cars, and pretty much everything. Personal loans, anything you borrow money on. So, and remember that credit card interest rates are already at all-time highs, with the average credit card interest rate at about 20%, and the highest credit cards at 35 to 36%. And that means you pay that amount every year. Those are annual percentage rates. So yeah, we're gonna see interest rates go even higher in December, and we could see another interest rate in February again. And yeah, this means this is just unbelievable. You guys can let me know your thoughts here, but looks like the Fed is not going to be. I mean, they're going to slow it down a little bit, I guess, because we have been seeing 75 basis point interest rate hikes, which is 0.75 of 1%. So I guess they're going to go down to probably 0.5%. Will be, but they're going to continue raising interest rates. I mean, we're going to see here. You know, this is where you know, this hasn't happened yet, so we don't exactly know. This is in the future, so I'll keep you up to date here on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And the people taking the brunt of this are the low and middle class, because people that are already struggling to pay their bills and have credit card debt are now being forced to pay even more, because anybody with credit card debt is paying more interest every time they go to pay their bills. They're paying a higher interest rate here on this. And remember that 60% or a little bit more of 60% of Americans already living paycheck to paycheck. Those are the people that have credit card debts and are, you know, already struggling with the high cost of food, the high cost of rent, the high cost of pretty much everything. We're seeing gas prices come down here. We went over that here in the previous video, how they, you know, gas prices have been coming down pretty decently here over the last 30 days. But that's just literally probably about the only thing that has really come down in price. And I mean, we've seen home prices come down in the actual price, but the problem is the interest rates have gone up so much that it's counteracted everything there. And this is really hurting the average American more than, you know, the rich and the wealthy and large corporations who actually have cash and, you know, can use it. Wharton professor Jeremy Siegel roasts Federal Reserve President Jerome Powell as the Fed continues to signal more rate hikes despite signs of falling inflation, because we have seen inflation go down from 8.7%, which is what the Social Security raise is going to be for 2023, and that is locked in. Jeremy Siegel says, quote, "I don't know what planet he lives on," as this is just crushing the average American with, you know, rising interest rates and rising credit card rates and everything. Yeah, what a statement. I don't know what planet he lives on. And it looks like Jerome Powell and the Fed is just going to keep hammering these interest rates. We're going to know in a few days if they're going to raise it yet again. Now, we have seen a lot of financial relief programs here. We've been going over them one by one here on our YouTube channel. We've just had $13 billion of utility assistance just approved. We've just had a bunch of states approve extra SNAP and food assistance. We just went over a bunch of extra SNAP like programs in the previous video here that a lot of people don't even know about. And now we have the potential presidential executive order for student loan forgiveness of $10,000 to $20,000 that was passed via executive order. But then now there's been so many different lawsuits by Republicans, and one lawsuit has now held it up. All the other lawsuits have been dismissed, and one there's actually the Supreme Court actually dismissed two lawsuits that went to the Supreme Court, and a Republican justice, Amy Coney Barrett, who was appointed by Trump, dismissed it twice. But now we're seeing headlines like this: Supreme Court likely to rule that Biden student loan plan is illegal. Experts are saying. Here's what this means for borrowers. So this one specific lawsuit by these Republican states could put a stymie in the for 40 million Americans, which could be terrible for 40 million Americans. If you're the 40 million Americans, well, you're thinking this is the worst Christmas gift that could ever happen, right? This is a big lump of coal in your stocking. And yeah, the reason for this is basically what a lot of people are saying here is that because there's a Republican majority on the Supreme Court. 6 Republicans on the Supreme Court, 3 Democrats. 3 of the Republicans were personally appointed by former President Donald Trump. So some people are saying that the Supreme Court might strike it down simply because of the Republican point of view that they just don't agree with the type of principle here for this hand up. This is actually an article from CNBC. It's not really a biased, you know, I mean, you guys can let me know. I mean, of course, everybody's going to say one way or another. But the Supreme Court will decide whether or not the president's debt relief policy causes harm to the plaintiffs or is an overreach of executive authority. Legal experts say the Supreme Court is likely to end the forgiveness plan given its conservative majority. Long before the president acted, Republicans had criticized student loan forgiveness as a handout to well-off college graduates. They also argued that the president didn't have the power to forgive consumer debt on his own without authorization from Congress. You know, the thing about this is that they're not all well-off college graduates. First of all, as you can see here, about 33% or about 1/3 of people that have college debt do not even complete college. So about 33% of people that go to college don't graduate. Or actually here, ultimately drop out. Among all undergraduate students, up to 40% drop out and don't complete, but yet still have college loans. So actually up to 40% drop out and still have to pay for the college. So they still have the college loans. The other thing here is that there's an income cap. So $125,000 income cap, if you make over that, you don't qualify. So, if you're a wealthy doctor or wealthy lawyer or something like that, you don't even qualify for this. So the people that are qualifying for this are like teachers and nurses and occupations like that, the hardworking Americans that go to work every day and are struggling to pay off these debts. People that are literally out there in the public, every single day, and could use this. I just seen a comment in the comment section of somebody whose son, had $70,000 in student loan debt and couldn't get a job because they required 3 to 5 years of experience, and he had $70,000 in debt. And I mean, it's only going to give him $10,000 of student loan forgiveness, but every bit helps. Every bit helps. And you guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comment section. But remember, they're not even raising any taxes or anything like this. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this. Also, remember here, former President Donald Trump did do an executive order as well, where he actually sent out checks right before the 2020 election to millions of Americans, literally checks that went out to millions of Americans, to unemployed workers, and was a total of $1,800 or $2,400 if states kicked in their extra $100 as well. So Trump did an executive order where he sent out money to millions of Americans as well, right before the 2020 election. So again, you guys can let me know your thoughts here on this, but Trump did it with an executive order. So, and that one held up mainly because the Democrats didn't challenge it and millions of Americans got help. So we'll see. We'll see. Also, it's very possible that if the student loan forgiveness does ultimately get struck down by the Supreme Court, they can change it, change the rules of how it works, and then push it through again. So I'll keep you up to date. Also, our thoughts and prayers go out here today to Kirstie Alley, who died from colon cancer. Yeah, it's been reported here by her family that she passed away at the age of 71 years old from colon cancer. She had it, and by the time they realized it, it was pretty far along, and her battle did not last very long. Yeah, so our thoughts and prayers go out to Kirstie Alley and her family, beloved by many millions of Americans. Also, I'm here with my little friend, Snowy, to announce our next trivia question here. We're giving away, well, we've actually already given away thousands of dollars here, and we're going to be giving away more money here for Christmas if you can guess the answer to a trivia question. The way it works here is, what do you think, buddy? If you can guess the answer to this trivia question I'm about to give you, you'll be entered into the pool of people who have guessed correctly, and from there we will pick a few winners for every trivia question we give. We'll have a trivia question here. Yeah. We'll have a trivia question here every few videos, all the way up until Christmas. And we're going to continue doing this probably every month going forward here. We'll see. And all you got to do is leave a comment down below with whatever your guess is. Yeah, so if you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe down below. Just click the subscribe button. It's completely free to do so. And make sure to like and share these videos. Yeah, okay. So our trivia question for today is, what? That's not the trivia question. That was a good question though, buddy. Okay, the trivia question for today is, what was the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time? You're very talkative today. What was the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time? And we're going to probably get a lot of different answers in this one. I love how your mouth is black. You remind me of a polar bear. Yeah. Yeah, like I wonder if you had black skin underneath there. Like I know you don't, but it'd be pretty cool. I mean, you do in your mouth, but all right. So what was the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time? I know I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to everybody on the other side of the screen, figuratively. Yeah. So if you want to make a guess, leave a comment down below. If you guess correctly, you'll be entered into the pool of people. Wow, you're starting to sing a song now. And we will have randomly picked a few people for each video. And maybe we'll have Baby Snowy pick the winners here for this one. So yeah, and then we're gonna have more trivia questions here coming soon. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Wow. So next up, you can click here to watch my newest video next, or you can click here to see my newest video about the IRS potentially making millions of Americans pay more taxes with a $600 reporting threshold that you need to know about. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.